Joann Stores was a specialty retail chain specializing in fabrics and arts and craft supplies that opened in 1943 and closed in 2025. Welcome to another episode of Throwback Thursday. So stay tuned on a random Thursday for a new remade video of an old video that I did before. Thanks.
When you encourage a child to create, you are lighting that child's imagination. And once an imagination is lit, the glow is amazing. Joann.com, the Earth's largest creativity store.
In 1943, two immigrant families from Germany, the Reichs and the Rohrbachs, opened a 1,400 square foot store called the Cleveland Fabric Shop in Cleveland, Ohio. Over the next 5 years, Hilda and the Rohrbachs' daughter, Alma, becomes the mainstays of the business, doubling their space and adding a drapery workroom in the basement. In 1948, a second Cleveland fabric shop opens. Betty Reich and her husband Martin Roskam deliver bolts of fabric every Saturday. By 1963, there were 18 Cleveland fabric shops in Ohio. The business is renamed Joann Fabrics. The families combined the names of their daughters, Joan Zimmerman and Jacqueline Ann Roskam. In 1968, the name is changed to Fabric Centers of America. By the next year, the company grows to 169 stores in 28 states and becomes a publicly held corporation on the American Stock Exchange under the name Fabric Centers of America, Inc. By 1976, Fabric Center joins the New York Stock Exchange. Joann's joins the trend towards shopping malls by opening its 4,000 square foot stores in regional malls. In 1980, the company opened its 500th store. In 1985, Alan Roskam, grandson of Hilda and Bertold Reich, becomes president and CEO and begins opening larger stores in strip shopping centers. By 1989, the company has 625 stores. And around this time, in the late 1980s and early 1990s, Joann stores began leaving the mall for larger stores and strip shopping centers. Some stores even add crafts and floral products to their mix. By 1994, there were 655 stores in northern United States. Fabric Centers acquires Cloth World with 342 stores in the South and becomes America's largest fabric and crafts retailer with stores in 49 states. The next year, Joann opens its first 46,000 square foot Superstore adjacent to corporate headquarters, offering home decorating items, furniture, picture frames, art supplies, classes, and daycare. The store becomes the pilot operation for a larger format Joann Superstores. 2 years later, the Joann.com website is launched to give customers 24-hour access to creative products and projects. In 1998, Joann's acquires the 260-store House of Fabrics chain of Los Angeles for nearly $100 million. Fabric Center becomes Joann's Stores, Inc. When the corporate name is changed to Joann Stores, Inc., all of its stores had grand openings under the Joann name. The magazine Joann would be launched the following year. In 2003, Joann Stores celebrated 60 years in the industry with more than 900 retail locations specializing in sewing, crafting, decorating, and floral products. More than 20,000 team members are employed nationwide, and by the end of 2003, almost 100 stores would be transformed to an approximately 35,000 square foot Superstore format, while constant upgrades would be in the remaining additional 14,000 foot stores. In 2010, Leonard Green and Partners purchased Joann for $1.6 billion. At this time, Joann stores were located in 49 states. The only state without a Joann store was Hawaii, although Joann stores online would still ship there. In March of 2018, Joann stores rebranded to Joann as a way to move beyond fabrics and encompass more craft. In 2020, the company experienced an uptick in business during the COVID-19 pandemic due to growth in the sewing and broader crafting industry, with people across the US fashioning their own masks and using the additional time at home for DIY pursuits. On March 16, 2021, Joann went public on the NASDAQ market. In March of 2024, Joann announced that they were preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy as part of a deal that would allow for Joann to sell off its assets to its lenders while also allowing it to shed some of its debt. There are currently no plans to close any stores. On March 18, 2024, Joann filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company has plans to cut over $500 million in debt and will become a privately owned company after its restructuring. It plans to complete its filing by late April with no employees or stores affected. Today, Joann operates approximately 850 stores in 49 states, except in Hawaii, of course. The collapse of the national retail chain marks an end to what was once a dominant force in the fabric and crafting world. Joann had been a go-to retailer for crafters, quilters, and sewing enthusiasts for decades. Its decline underscores the ongoing struggles faced by traditional brick-and-mortar retailers amid rising competition from online retailers and shifting consumer habits. In early 2025, Joann began its going out of business sales at roughly 500 stores that were already set to close. Now, the sales were set to be rolled out across all locations. On February 25, 2025, an announcement was made stating that all Joann locations were set to close after the fabric and craft retailer was auctioned off to a new ownership group. After filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for the second time within a year, Joann's remaining assets were put up for auction. Retail liquidator GA Group and Joann's term lenders won the bidding for the struggling company. Court documents show GA Group and the lenders will offer cash consideration, pay Joann's lenders in full. The retailer reported a $615 million debt in January 2025. The winning bidders will also offer an additional $105 million credit bid for most of the company's assets. In collaboration with the new ownership group, the Hudson, the retailer announced it will shut down all operations at all stores after conducting a going out of business sale at each location. The company had previously announced the closures of approximately 500 of its more than 800 locations across the U.S. The new ownership group is planning to roll out a multi-million-dollar retention plan for Joann's around 19,000 employees that include organizing job fairs and granting workers time off so they can interview for other jobs. Despite the imminent closures, Joann has assured customers that it will offer substantial discounts during its going out of business sales. These sales will begin immediately at all locations, allowing customers to purchase the remaining inventory at discounted prices. Joann's website and mobile app will also remain operational, enabling online shoppers to make their final purchases before the company ceases all operations entirely. So what do you remember about this place? Leave a comment or a suggestion for a future video below. And if you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
Bringing back memories from the good old days. That's super cool, man.